Meaning, depending on how Hashem felt about the Jewish people, depending on how Hashem was relating to us, the two statutes would be moving around. So if Kos v'Shalom, Hashem was angry with us, they'd go back to back. Or they'd go distance. So during then it was all the tzaddikim were always fascinated, like, how's Hashem feeling about us today? It was like a kind of a weather forecast, right? So, lahavdil. Now, on Tisha BeAv itself, the Rabbonim said, let's go and have a look what the Kruvim are doing. That'd be interesting. You would have thought they're at the furthest apart possible. Both sides of the Beis Hamikdash. Do you know where they were? They were in total embrace. You know, the mystics say they're actually in a sexual position, right? Meaning they were totally at one with each other. Meaning what? That at the time of the destruction of the temple, that was a time where Hashem portrays his love for us more ironically than any other time. Fascinating. You would have thought we're getting punished, like every time we go through punishment. You know, in your own lives, when you go through punishment, sometimes you think, oh, Hashem's really angry with me. Hashem doesn't want to talk to me. It's the opposite. Actually, Hashem loves you at that point more than any. It's just that we need to go through these ordeals. We need to go through these challenges. It's like, you know, when I can tell you from personal experience, if I've had to shout at my kids, or actually, let's say, you know, discipline, actually say, you can't have this, or you can't do this, and they get upset, and maybe they cry, it really hurts the parent. It really, truly hurts me. That's the way it should be. When you have parents that like it, that's a real problem, right? That's called abuse, right? But real, a normal parent will be someone who loves their kids so much. But, you know, at the moment, my daughter's trying to train my grandson into going to bed on time. He's only like 7 months, and he's been at the moment up all night. So she was been told by the health visitor, okay, you've got 8 o'clock, that's it. Put him in his bed, and he'll cry, but then he'll stop. And my daughter's crying when he's crying. But she's got to let him cry, because that's the only way he's going to get to sleep on night, and that's the only way he's not going to be spoiled for the rest of his life. He's got to learn for his benefit, and yes, he's crying, but that's going to be for his good. So when we go through challenges, I'm sure all of us around here, probably over the past year, have been through some intense challenges at different times in the year. Don't think at that time Hashem doesn't love you. Don't think it's just for the sake of cruelty. It's only because Hashem loves you, and it's only somehow to help us get close to Hashem in this world and in the next world. So at the time of the destruction, Hashem loves us more than ever. The second Beis Hamikdash, Andrew said, why was the first Beis Hamikdash was destroyed? We said because of between man and Hashem. The second Beis Hamikdash, it was destroyed between Sinas, man and man. The famous story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, you know the story? In short, you know, a guy had a big party and wanted to invite his friend Kamsa, but got the invitation sent to the wrong thing, and Bar Kamsa came along, and that was his like sworn enemy, and there was no way Bar Kamsa was going to be chilling out at his party, and the guy said, get out of my party right now.
Is Bar Kamsa actually the son of Kamsa, or are they completely unrelated?
No, unrelated. And Bar Kamsa said, please, it's like Harrison Cohen. How many Cohens are there? You know what I mean?
Well, you know, you could invite someone called Shimon, and Bar Shimon shows up.
Exactly. So Harrison, that Bar Kamsa begged, come, don't embarrass me in front of everyone. I'll pay for half the party. Now, for most Jews, that would be enough. Right? No problem. You can have all the drinks on me, right? Right? But he had such hatred. Get out! So Bar Kamsa said, I'll pay for the whole party. You are not staying in my party. You get out! And he threw him out. He got his mates to literally chuck him out. And Bar Kamsa was so distraught, especially the fact that everyone else just sat and watched it happen. If you ever see incidents where someone's embarrassed or humiliated, don't just sit back. Don't just sit back in silence and think, you know, someone once said to me, I didn't want to get involved. You know, if the fact you're in silence, it means you're not in pain. And the person, you should know, with it just very briefly, you know, Pharaoh had 3 advisors who advised him what to do with the Jewish people when he said he wanted to kill the Jewish people. Yisro was so upset with it, he ran away. Bilam was the one who advised him what to do and how to hurt us. But he had another advisor in the room. And that advisor was Job. There's Eov was in the room. And Eov just was silent. And Rucham Shmulevitch says that he gets a bigger punishment than Bilam. Now, there's just to be quiet bit like Switzerland, right? And just to say
neutral.
nothing,
Neutral.
try to stay neutral. That in itself, you're showing the true colours. Because we should have got up in that party and said, "You can't behave like this. Leave him alone. You can't throw someone out of a party and embarrass someone in public." And Bar Kamsa was so angry that he went and said, "Right, I'm going to teach these Jews a lesson." Even though he was Jewish by that point, he was so angry that I'm going to teach them a lesson. And he goes to the Roman Emperor Vespasian and says, "You think these Jews are nice to you? You think they like you? They don't like you. I'll give you a way to find out. Go and give them a sacrifice. Let's see if they're going to offer it up. I'm telling you, they're not going to do it." And Vespasian, of course they're going to offer up my sacrifice. Of course they will. It's me. I'm the emperor. So then he won't. And he gave him a cow. And Bar Kamsa came and took that cow to Jerusalem. And on the way, he went and put cataract in the eye. He went and poked in the eye to make it a blemish into the cow. So you're not allowed to give a sacrifice to a cow which has got a mum, which has got a blemish. So they couldn't give a sacrifice, and that was it. He went and then reported back, beginning of the destruction of the Second Temple. Is it a
mitzvah to stick up for someone? So.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. 100%. One of the biggest mitzvahs.
Okay, good.
So just don't get into a fight. Right? You've got to do it. You've got to have tact.
Sound of
Yes,
right.
You're saying about Eeyore. He didn't say anything. So when he had his trial and his family died, he didn't say anything. So Hashem rewarded him for not saying anything.
But it seems that was his rectification, right? Now don't say anything for good.
No complaining,
It's like midah connected midah. Midah connected midah. In other words, Hashem always does that, right? That the crime is how we're punished. And we need to, this time now, not say anything for good. In other words, not cry when Hashem punishes. Just say, okay, whatever you want, Hashem. Okay, I'm not asking questions. Very good.
So he didn't have to change his personality or his...
No, you never change your
He
personality.
was just the same as he was
But that's
before,
life,
isn't
Yishuron. That's life is, we've all got a personality, but if we use our personality for bad, we use our personality for good. The job isn't to change your personality, it's just to filter it and to do good with our personality.
Yeah, but he was neutral, wasn't he? He
yeah.
didn't say anything, and he didn't say anything. It was easy for him not to
No,
complain about Hashem.
trust me, it's very easy not to say anything when someone else is hurt. When you're going through pain, even someone who's very phlegmatic and doesn't really say anything, he wants to scream and shout. And he didn't. And that was amazing. And that was part of his tshuva. So what do we see? We see, and this is what I'm getting at now. Why have we been for 2,000 years in exile? 2,000 years. First, they said it was only 70 years. Why? Anyone?
Because I think this
Why are we still in darkness now?
human against human nature is just kept carrying on.
What did he say?
Humans are at each other's foot and it's carried on without any intervention of like...
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that the third base of Midrash will not be destroyed because we're going through such darkness that the light will be so much more intense than the second base of
But
Midrash.
how do we bring that third base of Midrash, my friend? How do we do that?
By loving each other.
In other words, says
For no
Rabbi
reason.
Gessler, that sinas chinom, baseless hatred is the reason the temple was destroyed. So the temple can only be rebuilt when we get to baseless love. When you invite people to parties where you don't even like them, but you invite them anyway. Because you like everybody. Baseless love means I don't need a reason to love someone.
Human being is love.
You
Doesn't
know,
matter.
we're all connected. We're all connected. All our souls are connected. All part of Hashem. We're meant to love ourselves, we're meant to love Hashem. And it's so tragic that sometimes we only love the people that we invested in. We have family, we have some of them we don't love, and friends, and even know some of them we don't love, right? But our job is to be able to love anyone and everyone. Why not?
But also,
Real souls.
you have to say, like, I mean, there's a few things. Firstly,
It's about you.
the Mishnah says, stay away from a bad
This is
neighbor
about
and from
you
a
a
bad
little
friend.
bit this year.
So you sit down with people and someone is a bad influence on you or a
Now
bad
to-
influence on
time
your
to
group.
change it.
Why would you want
Again.
him at your party?
Those
Because
that
he
you
comes
don't like.
and he cursing
Those
Hashem
that you don't like.
and he's against and he's not whatever.
Sure, time to
You don't have to invite him, but you don't have to throw him out. And
If
you
they
definitely
show up,
can still
yeah.
love him. In other words, our job is still love every single person.
Yeah.
Good, bad, because even if someone does bad things,
Yeah.
they're not bad, they're just doing some bad things, but they're really beautiful and spiritual and pure. Everyone's got a pure soul, and the kind of everyone's soul is totally pure. Sometimes the actions we do aren't that pure, but when you break it down, everyone's beautiful and everyone's pure, and the job is to love everyone. Now, you're absolutely right. Sometimes if they're going to harm your spirituality, you can not spend so much time with them, right? You don't have to invite them for everything, right? But still need to love them. You're not allowed to hate anyone. You're not allowed to hate anybody.